So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about 7 things that stop you from achieving super success. This is whether you want to make a lot of money, financial fields or non-financial goals that you might have. These are the 7 things I've identified over the last 12 years of being 12 years ago. I was addicted to substances. I was in a bad environment. I got no money and I was living in my mother's house. From that to now, being involved in multi-million-dollar deals and leading some of the most high-profile executives in UAE, including a CEO of a $3.5 billion company. And I have, in the last couple of years, done over 400 presentations, including major banks in UAE, looking for a funding for around $10 million, which I happened to secure a term sheet to finance a transaction. That transaction didn't go through, but I managed to secure a term sheet of $10 million. And I've accomplished this at the age of 29. I have also met several healthcare business owners that built businesses worth several million dollars, and even 2 of the businesses that were worth $120 million and $140 million. These are negotiations, discussions that I've been part of, and I have put myself in a position where I am able to do this. And this is something I accomplished through self-education. I didn't have a formal education. I read books, I had many private mentors, and I took a lot of action and I accomplished these. And I have identified 7 things that stop you from achieving super success in any field, and whether it's financial or non-financial. So let's get started. Number 1 is your family. We don't choose our family. We are born into a family, and they control your food, they control our rent where we live, and they pretty much control our life. And for the first 17 or 18 years, depending on which culture you belong. And after that, even though you may be financially independent, they still have emotional leverage, and they can they can control you through guilt, through inflicting guilt. Oh, look at what I have done for you, and this is how you pay me back. And they try to make you feel guilty, and they can control you, and they may not approve of a lot of the things that you're doing. And if you keep on engaging with those people, then they will drag you down. This is obviously assuming that your family is not supportive. If you have a supportive family, if they support your ideas, if they want to empower you, that's a different scenario. I'm talking about a scenario where certain members of the family, they really drag you down and they affect your self-esteem. Your communication skills and your ability to present yourself and put yourself in situations where you can expose yourself to opportunities come through self-esteem. And self-esteem is a very sensitive thing. If you have wrong types of people saying discouraging things to you on a daily basis, especially people who have got leverage on you, financial or non-financial or emotional leverage on you, if these people start offering you discouraging words, that can affect the way you see yourself and your self-esteem, and you may not pursue opportunities that you could have pursued, because a lot of opportunities takes risk and courage. And if somebody says, oh, that's too risky, don't do that, you're only so many years old and it's too much of risk, don't go there. Saying that even in a very respectful manner can affect your mindset, and you may actually start having doubts. And when you even pursue those opportunities, your mind may be inflicted with doubts, and you may find that your communication has a doubtful, insecure voice, and your presentation will be affected, and the way you come across to other people will be affected, and your chances of making use of that opportunity will be affected. So even a normal simple statement like that oh, be careful, or don't do that, that's too risky, things like these can affect you and can affect your results. So family is one area where you would most likely be affected and be held back. Second is, then we move out of the house, we find friends. These are people that come into your life. Once again, you may say that, oh, but the friends were chosen by me. Well, the friends were chosen by you, but the environment in which friendship takes place may not be chosen by you. For example, you went to a school and your parents sent you to that school. You were just put into that school, and in your classroom there were people who just happened to be there. You did not choose your entire class. You could choose friends from that class, but you did not choose that environment. You were put into that environment, and it happened unconsciously, or the friendships developed not with a deliberate intent or with a strategic thought in mind, but they kind of developed over time because they were in the environment and you needed them, and they needed you. In that moment of time, the friendship was developed. But it's not an outcome based strategic partnership or alliance, which is what you need to be successful. And a lot of the friends can also hold you back, because if you become successful and if you become accomplished, they would envy you and there would be a distance in the friendship, and there is a high likelihood that the friendship may break, and that would result in them not receiving what they are receiving from you, because you are a valuable person and they are valuable to you, you are valuable to them. But if you have other options, if you become financially successful and you have access to different kinds of environment, much better environments, then they would be left alone and they would not have what they were receiving from you. So because of that, they feel insecure and they may drag you down, they may discourage you. And to be fair, they may themselves have insecurities and they may be projecting those upon you and putting doubts in your head. I'll give you an example on this. I was about 15 years old, and I told one of my friends that I really like this girl. And he was like, "That girl? Oh, she's out of your league." And he just said that, and I believed him. And I did not go and approach that girl. I did not talk to her. I did not build any kind of chemistry with her. And just that little thing that he put into my mind, because he was my friend and I trusted him, that just thing went in my head and it became like a virus. And it ruled my mind for a long time. And I really believed that she was out of my league. Just like that, many belief systems get rubbed off in our brains. Which brings me to the third point, which is social conditioning. The third thing that can stop you is your social conditioning. We are a product of our environment. Family, friends, school teachers, upbringing, culture, religion, media that we have been exposed to. These form our mental frameworks, or the way we see the world. And the way we see the world is the way we act. You remember the example that I gave you about not approaching the girl, is because I saw her and I didn't even see her face. I saw that she is out of my league. So I rejected myself. And that little thing was a belief that I had, which was not real. There is no such thing as out of your league. I just kind of it just was in my head and it wasn't real. So, but I was conditioned to believe that. Oh, she's beautiful and this and that, and you are not, so hence I conclude that she's out of your league. That's bullshit. Okay, there's no such thing. Another example is Prithvi. If you don't get good grades, you will not get into good college. If you don't get into good college, you will not have a good career. If you don't have a good career, you will not make a lot of money. If you don't make a lot of money, nobody's going to marry you and you're going to be left alone. Right? So that's what they used to tell us in school when we are 8-9 years old. and they condition you to perform good in grades. Why? Because if all the students perform good in grades, they will get more business, because the ranking of the school will go up and they will make a lot of money. So there was a financial incentive in pushing this narrative. So, and it's not true. It's simply not true. Many of the billionaires were college dropouts. I know people who were school dropouts who made hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's not true, but it can be in your head. And this is something that affected me even later on when I was doing the $10 million presentation with the bank. I felt sick to my stomach and I felt like puking, because deep down in my subconscious, those beliefs still were running me, and I felt that I didn't deserve that money. That money I felt was belonged to people who had been to Harvard and Oxford, and maybe people who had 20, 30 years of experience, and they were the top of the class and top of the country and had the best rank. That type of money is only available for those small group of people, and there is no correlation between academic prowess or academic success in college and school and financial success in life. There is no correlation between this, but the school systems and the college systems make us believe that, and we believe it. So that's another example of social conditioning. And if you feel too sick to your stomach in certain opportunities, around certain situations, you may want to extract yourself from that situation, because you don't feel you deserve it and you don't feel comfortable, you feel out of place, and you just want to get away from that. And it takes a lot of tolerance to push through that. So it takes a lot of effort, and this can come in the way. So social conditioning is another one. Number 4 is substances. So, there are big companies that have a financial incentive in making you addicted to their product, right? Whether it's alcohol, cigarettes, certain drugs that may be in certain food, certain chemicals that are in some food, it may get you addicted to the product. And food is one thing, but especially things that affect the mind, like alcohol, even cigarettes affect the mind, weed and things of this nature, they affect your productivity. And business is an intellectual sport, and even physical sports, even in a non-financial goal that you might have, you will see that these things actually stop you tremendously and affect you. And it's not just the night that you consumed alcohol or weed or anything else. It's the after effects that follow that also affects the way you think. And I didn't smoke or drink or do any of the substances for about 8-9 years. And during those 8-9 years, my mind was absolutely clear, and I had a competitive advantage over other people, because A, I wasn't smoking or drinking, B, I wasn't going to environments that where these things were, so I was not exposed to a lot of limiting beliefs and insecurities that people have, because when you drink, you start vomiting things onto each other, right? I don't mean literally vomiting, but conversations that happen after that, it rubs off on you. So I wasn't exposed to any of that, and whatever I wanted to do, I was the only person there. I spent a lot of time alone, and I would just do it. I didn't have this approval process, or do my friends approve of this thing that I want to do? Do they believe in me? I didn't give a fuck whether they believed in me or not. So that chemicals can affect the way you think and the way you feel, and also it can affect your routine, how you wake up, when you sleep, and all of that directly or indirectly affects your productivity, and also the type of people that you would end up associating with. I remember I used to smoke, and I made a lot of friends who used to smoke, and before you know it, one of my friends started to smoke weed, and then before you know it, everybody started to smoke weed. And then another one of my friend introduced glue sniffing into the environment. And then before you know it, everybody was sniffing glue. So once you build trust, you very rarely doubt whether the other person, what they are proposing is good for you or not. So chemicals, stay away from them and stay away from people who do them. And that can stop you. Next is number 5 is a romantic partner. If you are in a toxic relationship where the person holds you back or makes you feel terrible about who you are and gains sexual leverage on you, sexual or financial. So in the case of men, women can control the man sexually. If the man doesn't obey her, she can withdraw sex. And if she withdraws sex because you're not listening to her and you're not obeying to her, then what you will start to feel is frustration. And if you cheat, then you're a cheater. And if you don't cheat, then you're frustrated. And it becomes a very toxic dynamic. And once again, this affects your mind and emotions and your career and your goals as well. And if you're a girl, what I have seen is that men tend to get financial leverage on the girl, or they say, we'll take care of you, you don't have to worry financially, I will take care of you, and don't go anywhere, don't go out, and they just completely ground the girl in the house. And she may be happy, that's fine, but if she has financial goals, if she has career goals, the guy can keep discouraging her. Oh, what's the need? And may actually start controlling the girl. That also happens. Now, there are situations where the girl is pregnant, she's a mother. I'm not talking about those situations. Please have discretion when I say these things. And take it with a grain of salt, especially the love relationship aspect. Then you have got number 6 is lack of information. So you know what you want, and you know that you want it, but you don't have the necessary information as to how to get it. It's possible that you may not even be able to articulate what exactly it is that you want. Sometimes these are vague desires. You feel the need in your body, in your heart about something, but you don't know what it is. The calling, something is calling me, or I have a calling, I haven't found my calling. So you have to get specific on those things, and you have to write it down very regularly and flush out these emotions into words and see for yourself what is it that you want, and then you will find out that you don't know how to get it. So then you have to locate people through books, through courses, through YouTube, what you're doing now, and find that information that can get you where you want to go. Each individual has spent their life discovering something, putting their time, putting their effort into discovering something, and they might have spent 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, and you can just pay them and get all of that intellectual property, get all of that knowledge and use it to your benefit. And I did that. I certainly did that. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars acquiring quality information that was not available in the market for free. This information was tightly controlled. This was like extremely valuable piece of information that works, that produces result, right? So those types of information is available in environments which are typically paid environments, and the higher the paid environment, the more likely the information will be of quality. Now you have to again research, look who the person is and what they have done, and then based on that you can make an assessment. And then finally, number 7 is a skill set. So we always see that there is another thing that you would find is that to accomplish your goal, you may need a skill set or set of skill sets that you may not have right now. For example, one of the skill set that is required in my business is reading financial statements. And I didn't know how to read financial statements. I did not understand financial terms. And I had to read a couple of books to be able to understand what was happening, to be able to understand it and then present the information in the right format so that I can have effective negotiations, effective conversations. Another skill that I did not have was negotiations. And this is something, again, I read books, I did courses, and now I understand how to negotiate, and I'm not nervous around negotiations. And when you're not nervous around negotiations, you would want to get into a lot of negotiations. And that is, again, creating opportunities. Another thing I didn't understand was sales and marketing. So I learned how to do sales and marketing. I didn't know how to be productive or get a lot of things done in a short period of time. I got developed in that. Then I didn't know how to get others to do what I wanted them to do when I wanted them to do leadership. Then I developed those skills of leadership and communicating in a way that other people understand what I mean and what I am saying, and putting my trust in them, and making use of their skills and their gifts to fulfill projects, right? So those are leadership qualities that you can develop, that I had to develop. Another skill was raising capital. I had no idea how capital is raised, and now I've been through that process and I understand it now. So those are the skills that I needed and I developed. So those are the 7 things that can hold you back from super success: family, friends, chemicals, romantic partner, information, skill, and social conditioning. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you soon.